Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're opening up a really fascinating sermon centered around this one letter. A message sent to people who were, just completely defeated, stuck somewhere hostile, feeling like everything was over.
Yeah, we're talking about Jeremiah chapter 29. Specifically, this letter to the Jewish exiles way out in Babylon.
It's just the ultimate picture of uncertainty, isn't it?
Totally. They weren't just, displaced. They'd been deported from their home, Jerusalem, forced to live in the capital city of the empire that crushed them.
Far from home, feeling totally forgotten.
And asking that question we all ask sometimes. Is this it? Is this really my future?
Exactly. And actually title this message, Do You Know?
Right. The whole point is to kind of cut through that fog of despair.
And ground you, the listener, in this divine assurance. It all anchors back to that famous verse, Jeremiah 29:11.
For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord.
Thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. That King James Version phrasing is so powerful.
It is. It's like a beacon. But, the context of the letter itself, that's where the real practical genius is. These people needed help right now.
They were probably hoping for some quick miracle, right? Like a revolt that would send them home in a few weeks.
Exactly. And that's the first big shock in the text, verses 4 through 7. The instructions God gives are the opposite of temporary.
He tells them to build houses, settle down, plant gardens, and eat the food.
Yep. This wasn't a quick stopover. It was basically a command to build a new life, even though it's enemy territory.
And the time frame given?
70 years.
70! Just imagine hearing that.
Right. The psychological blow must have been immense. And they weren't just told to stay. They were told to integrate, build, plant, marry, have kids.
And find spouses for their kids.
Make sure the community grows, stabilizes, doesn't just sort of dwindle away while waiting.
Okay, hold on. That detail is genuinely radical to me. It's not just survive in Babylon. It's thrive in the capital of your conqueror. And then that specific command. Seek the peace and prosperity. The shalom.
Yes, the shalom.
Of the city where I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray to the Lord for it. Why? Why pray for Babylon? It sounds almost like betrayal.
It does sound counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's deeply pragmatic. First, they had to ignore the false prophets right there in Babylon.
Verses 8 and 9 warn about them, telling lies, promising a quick return that wasn't happening.
Exactly. Don't listen to the lies.
Yeah. But
the reason to invest in Babylon's peace, the text says it plainly, its welfare will determine your welfare.
So their own well-being was tied directly to the city holding them captive.
Directly. They couldn't afford for Babylon to collapse, or they'd collapse right along with it. It's incredibly realistic advice for a community that's just heartbroken.
Wow. Okay, so settle in. It's going to be 70 years.
But, and this is the crucial but, hold on to the promise. After the 70 years, God says, I will visit you. I will bring you home. I will restore your fortunes.
And the condition for that?
Just seek him. Pray wholeheartedly. Be genuine about it.
Okay. That whole setup, the context, it leads us into these three core assurances from the message, especially when we feel stuck in our own Babylon, that place of waiting or confusion.
Yeah. And the first point hammering home is this. You might be confused, but God isn't.
You see the closed doors, the delays.
We only see the mess, right. But the message is, God knows the beginning, the middle, and the end. He's not guessing. He's not learning on the job.
He's the author.
He's the author and the finisher. He knows what you're doing or maybe not doing. He knows the excuses.
But the common pushback is, if God knows, why is this taking so long? Why the delay? Does he forget?
And that's where Dr. Dargan brings in these biblical stories to illustrate. Think about Elijah.
Okay, after the big showdown on Mount Carmel.
Yeah, huge victory. The next thing you know, he's hiding in a cave, totally defeated, telling God, just let me die.
Right.
And God asks him, why are you here, Elijah? It wasn't about the cave's location.
It was about his purpose.
Exactly. God was saying, I know where you are, geographically and emotionally, and I am not finished with you yet.
That's powerful. But the story that really captures this whole long, confusing journey, it has to be Joseph.
Oh, absolutely. Joseph is the ultimate case study.
If God knows the expected end, is Joseph basically running Egypt?
Right.
Why the pit? Why slavery? Why being framed and thrown in prison, forgotten for years?
Where's the sense in that suffering?
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Dargan argued the suffering was part of the plan. It was preparation. Maybe Joseph needed the pit to knock off some arrogance. Maybe he needed prison to learn patience, administration even. Maybe betrayal taught him compassion.
So it wasn't random cruelty.
No. And Joseph gets it in the end. That famous line, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." That's not just a nice platitude.
It's his lived experience.
It's his testimony that every single awful, seemingly wasted moment was actually building him up for the destiny God had planned all along.
That totally reframes waiting, doesn't it? It's not passive, it's active development.
Waiting is critical. If God just handed you that expected end too soon, maybe you couldn't handle it. Or you'd misuse it.
Like Isaiah 40 says, "Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength."
Exactly. God's knowledge dictates his timing, and his timing is always perfect, even when it feels agonizingly slow to us.
Okay, so God knows what he's doing. That leads right into the second big assurance. Back to Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. Thoughts of peace and not of evil. His intentions are good.
Yes, point 2 is all about divine motivation. God's fundamental disposition towards you is good. Now remember, the Israelites were in Babylon partly because of their own disobedience. Let's be clear about that.
Right, it was a consequence.
But even in that correction, God's ultimate desire wasn't annihilation, it was restoration. His love doesn't just switch off when discipline is needed.
That can be really hard to feel, though, when you're in the middle of the consequence. When life is disrupted, maybe falling apart. How do thoughts of peace fit with, say, losing your job or a relationship ending? That's the key distinction. Dr. Dargan makes peace here means he's ultimately building you, not trying to break you permanently. He's preparing you, not just punishing you forever. Romans 8.28.
And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God.
Right. We need to read that carefully. It doesn't say that all things are good. Some things are just bad. They hurt. They're tragic.
It doesn't minimize the pain.
Not at all. The promise is about God's ability to work with everything, like a master chemist. He can take all the ingredients, the good, the bad, the bitter, the broken pieces of your life, and he knows how to combine them, how to work them together for an ultimate good purpose.
He uses the platform of your pain to carry out his plan.
That's a great way to put it. He doesn't waste the raw material, even when that material is suffering.
Which brings us logically to the third, and maybe the most crucial promise for someone stuck in that waiting season.
God has an expected end.
That phrase, expected end. What does expected really mean here?
It carries this weight of destiny. It's something hoped for, yes, but also planned, designed, secured by God. Even when you're lost in the middle of the story feeling completely stuck, God already sees the final chapter. He knows how it ends.
So the pain isn't the end, the failure isn't the end, the waiting room isn't the final destination.
Absolutely not. These are temporary seasons, and Dr. Dargan really urges us, don't get too comfortable in the temporary. Don't settle down permanently in a place God only intended as transitional. Get up.
Yeah, there's a quote in the material. What looks like a setback is just a setup.
What feels delayed is simply developing your destiny. I love that phrasing.
Me too. It flips the perspective entirely.
Because God finishes what he starts. That's his nature. Philippians chapter 1 verse 6 tells us, "He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion." If he started it, he'll finish it.
And to really drive home this idea of completion and how every part matters, the sources share this beautiful, really specific illustration. It's about a puzzle tradition.
Yes, the one started by Dr. Charles Myrick's at the West Middlesex camp meeting. It's such a powerful metaphor.
Tell us about it. How did it work?
Okay, so imagine this huge gathering, thousands of people. Every single person who registered got one puzzle piece.
Just one single random piece.
One single fragmented piece. No picture on it, no context. Just this odd, jagged little bit of cardboard.
By itself, it looks completely meaningless. Like, what am I supposed to do with it?
Exactly. How could this possibly matter? But then everyone had to take their little piece to a central place called the Giving House.
Okay.
And there, they had to find the specific puzzle their piece belonged to. And slowly, painstakingly, person by person, adding their fragment.
The bigger picture starts emerging.
Piece by piece, this beautiful, intricate image comes together.
And the realization hits.
Every single person, every seemingly insignificant little piece was absolutely essential. The jagged edges weren't flaws, they were the connection points. They were necessary to link up with everyone else, to create the whole picture.
Yes.
We are those puzzle pieces. Right now, you might just see your own jagged edges. You don't understand your shape, why you feel fragmented or out of place.
God sees the whole picture.
He's assembling something amazing, far bigger and more beautiful than we can imagine from just looking at our own little piece. You are essential to his design.
So, circling all the way back to that core question, do you know, do you really know deep down that God's plan is bigger than whatever problem you're facing right now? Do you know his thoughts are higher, his ways are better, that he really will complete what he started in you?
Because when you feel lost in your own Babylon, that place of waiting, confusion, maybe loss, your hope isn't in figuring it all out yourself. It's in trusting the one who made the promise.
Trusting his character, his track record.
Exactly. When God declares his assurance, he's basically pointing back to his resume. He affirms his history of showing up, his faithfulness across all kinds of impossible human situations. He's saying, let me remind you who I am, he says essentially. I was Adam's friend way back in the garden. I was Abraham's ram caught in the thicket when all hope seemed gone. I was Moses' company during those long years on the backside of the mountain.
I was Joshua's way through the troubled water. I was David's shepherd when he walked through the darkest valley. I was Queen Esther's courage when she faced death. I was Rahab's hiding place that saved the spies. I was Mary's miracle that brought the Savior into the world.
See, he's reminding you of his identity. That's the foundation of your trust.
So the conclusion is simple but profound. When God knows his plan will happen, it will come to pass.
It will. And the only thing required from you while you're waiting for that expected end, while you're living in your temporary Babylon, it's found right there in Proverbs.
Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him,
and he shall direct thy paths. That's the action plan for the waiting room.
That's it. Trust, don't lean on your own limited view, acknowledge him in everything, and he will guide you through. That's how you navigate the meantime until the expected end arrives.
In reflecting on Dr. James Dargan's sermon, do you know, based on Jeremiah chapter 29, verses 4 through 14, there's a difference between where you are and what God is doing while you're there. This week's message reminded us that God doesn't just make promises. He places people, even in exile, even in disappointment, even in delay. You're not stuck. You're planted. And when you seek him with your whole heart, he will be found. Watch us or worship with us online at Facebook, Congregational Church of God NYC, or YouTube at CCOGNYC. Visit us in person. We'd love to see you live every Sunday at 10 a.m. at Congregational Church of God, 1889 Amsterdam Avenue, between West 153rd and 154th Streets in New York. Recharge during the midweek with us. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for our Spiritual Development and Deployment series. Not just Bible study, but fuel for your purpose. For Zoom info, email us at our email address CCOGNYC@AOL.com. Support our ministry. If this word blessed you, consider sowing. Through Zelle or PayPal, use our email address, CCOGNYC@AOL.com, with Cash App. Our handle is $CCOGNYC. And finally, with Givelify, look up Congregational Church of God, 1889 Amsterdam Avenue, New York, New York, 10032. Help us reach 1,000 followers by December the 31st. Share this podcast. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube and tag a friend. Let's flood the algorithm with the word. Stay planted, stay expectant, stay kingdom-minded. Until next time, this is Two Hosts, One Message. Thanks for listening.